We back, Cupola. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I want to do a mini little breakdown, discuss a little bit what's going to happen in the game at the Santiago Bernabeu, Real Madrid against Manchester City, first leg. Now, I want to first highlight the fact that Ferland Mendy will start a left back, and that's because Alvaro Carreras has an injury. Apparently, it's a calf injury. He's out for a week and a half, but the main thing is Ferland Mendy starts. Now, when looking at Ferland Mendy, there's something that's very key about him. Defensively, an absolute bulldozer. So difficult to get past. You've seen Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams, some of the league's, well, La Liga's best, if not most exciting, wingers, pairs that really always want to take on players 1v1. So the hardest they've faced is Ferland Mendy. And one of the main reasons is he's so strong. Rudiger quoted him as being strong like an ox. Defensively, you won't have any problems with Ferland Mendy most of the time. I'll tell you that, and I'll be real. However, when we're talking about going this way, guys, let's be real. Ferland Mendy is not the best attacker. Guys, I know you remember the assist for Benzema's goal when he scored at the Etihad 4 years ago, I believe it was. Ferland Mendy had a part to play with the cross. However, he's not really that kind of attacking fullback. So Real Madrid are very limited and over-reliant on the winger. If it is Vinicius Jr., which it probably will be, Kylian Mbappe is not there, so they are going to be reliant on Vinicius Jr. So that's one of the biggest news. Alvaro Carreras is out. But you know what? Vinicius Jr. is one guy I want to highlight. Now, against all these English teams, he's played 24 games in the Champions League, and he has 19 GA, which is absolutely unbelievable. Against Man City, 7 GA in 10 games. Now, one of the main reasons why I want to highlight that is because Vinicius Jr. in this game will not be with his counterpart, Rodrigo, and Jude Bellingham, who have been available in other previous games against Man City. Last season, of course, it was Kylian Mbappe who really destroyed Man City, scored a hat-trick, scored away from home at the Etihad as well. Now the focus is going to be on Vini Jr. Now, we saw against Celta Vigo, Real Madrid used Vini in this area here, making runs in behind there, in behind there. Now, if you guys actually remember, when they played Man City, when they last won the Champions League, a few seasons ago, Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo were actually operating like this, and Jude Bellingham was operating like that, and it was very difficult for Man City to stop and to handle them. Last season, it kind of changed because you had Kylian Mbappe in here, so of course Jude Bellingham will be operating a bit deeper here, and then Rodrigo in Rodrigo's spot as well, and I think that's what it's going to be like, They say Camavinga will be back, so we expect him there. Valverde, I expect him to be in position. Tchouaméni, who's been the most informed player as well. And another thing that makes it really tough is the fact that they've got Trent. Now, for me, you probably might have Doku there. And one of the main reasons is because Jeremy Doku, when he last played Trent in the Premier League last season, he destroyed him. And that is going to definitely be one to watch out for. But again, going forward, Trent is always a plus, always an addition. My thing is, will the game be won and lost in the midfield? Because Man City are very potent wingers. That's where I fear Man City the most. Of course, they've got Ray and Cherki and whatnot, but these players are the most dangerous players that you'll see. When you're looking at Rodri, you're looking at Cherki, Bernardo Silva probably in there. I think those are the players that will cause more problems to Real Madrid than anyone else. But for me, again, I think these are the areas where Madrid will be lacking. Even if they have Valverde in there, they're still going to have Arda Güler potentially as a player going forward, and then maybe Brahim Diaz. I don't think those players against Man City are going to cause as much problems running in behind the team. And I think that's something that we have to look out for, because I think, again, in behind this back line of Manchester City, they're going to need players who are going to be willing to make runs further or run in the opposite direction. Because the one thing that happens here is Man City are always going to have a high line. That will never change. That's how Pep's played at Bayern Munich. That's how he played at Barcelona. That's how he always plays. So the game is going to be pretty much condensed, as you can see it here. What Real Madrid need to do to create space is have players running this way so that you can force the centre-backs to drop in and the full-backs to drop in. Real Madrid are more of a counter-attacking team the way they line up right now because of how they dominate possession. Man City, probably because of the likes of Rodri, expect them to dominate possession a bit more. So Real Madrid cannot afford to just have Vini as the only player looking to run in behind. And as fast as Vini is, he's faster than the centre-backs, but he's not Kylian Mbappe fast. Kylian Mbappe, of course, we know his injuries. He won't be ready for this game. And that's where I'm like, can Real Madrid cause a lot of issues to Manchester City in the home game? Now, I went to the game against Benfica. So my thing is not necessarily direct and long passes, but my thing is minimize the build up here. Ball comes into here, there, and boom. Vinicius Jr. 1v run. 1v1, run at your man. 1v1, take him on. 1v1, make something happen. And he's a Champions League player. Vinicius Jr. turns up. We saw against Benfica. He turns up in the Champions League, regardless. And I think that's the main thing. Again, Gonzalo's running will also be key. We've spoken about it in other games. Gonzalo loves to make those runs. He's the number 9. He will always be in the box, and hence why he will be very important as well. But my thing is, when you don't have Jude Bellingham in here, you've got Camavinga, Valverde, who scored in the last game, of course, end up on the edge of the box. They need one of these two to take risk in running in this way, because what that does is it also creates space for Real Madrid to have more of a build-up and more sustained periods of pressure in Manchester City's half. If he always doesn't want to take the risk and Valverde doesn't go in as much as well, it will keep Man City as high as possible, and that's what Real Madrid don't want. You want to push these defenders all the way back here, so it's harder for Manchester City to build up, because we know their build-up is slow in transition. That's the places where you can always catch Man City out. We saw that last season with Kylian Mbappe over the top. We saw the runs that he was making. What you want to do is you want to isolate Man City's players. You want Vini 1v1. You want him 1v1. And my thing is, he's going to be the main guy. So that's the guy you need to find the most space for. Now, how Real Madrid do that, that's going to take a lot of intelligence. I believe in-game intelligence, because, again, most of these teams tend to play the same formations. The system might be different. The way they progress the ball up the pitch might be different. However, when it comes to situations in the game, when it comes to creating space in the game and trying to find openings, that's what you have to think about. My thing is, key to unlocking this team, find Vinicius Jr. early. Real Madrid need to find a way to minimize build-up in this area here, because Man City with the mid-block, they're very good. Again, Camavinga, Tchouaméni, Valverde or Arda Güler, who plays in there, whoever plays in there, I don't think Dani Ceballos will play in there. They need to find a way to skip these kind of passes and to find a way to get the ball here as soon as possible. So my thing is not necessarily direct and long passes, but my thing is minimize the build-up here. Ball comes into here, there, and boom. Vinicius Jr. 1v run. 1v1, run at your man. 1v1, take him on. 1v1, make something happen. And he's a Champions League player. Vinicius Jr. turns up. We saw against Benfica. He turns up in the Champions League, regardless. Regardless. And I think that's the main thing. Again, Gonzalo's running will also be key. We've spoken about it in other games. Gonzalo loves to make those runs. He's the number 9. He will always be in the box, and hence why he will be very important as well. But my thing is, when you don't have Jude Bellingham in here, you've got Camavinga, Valverde, who scored in the last game, of course, end up on the edge of the box. They need one of these two to take risk in running in this way, because what that does is it also creates space for Real Madrid to have more of a build-up and more sustained periods of pressure in Manchester City's half. If he always doesn't want to take the risk and Valverde doesn't go in as much as well, it will keep Man City as high as possible, and that's what Real Madrid don't want. You want to push these defenders all the way back here, so it's harder for Manchester City to build up, because we know their build up is slow. We know how they like to build up as well. So it's going to be a very, very interesting game. It's going to be interesting to see the lineups, the systems that the team play as well. I think for me personally, I'm going to just go for a draw. I'll go for a draw in that game again. Second leg at the Etihad is going to be massive. Will Kylian Mbappe be fit for it? I do not know. I just think it's going to be a crazy one. They play every single season. Is it fixed at this point? I think everybody seems to think it's fixed. Maybe it is, because 5 seasons and playing each other in the knockout stage is just too much at this point. However, let's see what happens. It's going to be exciting. Ala Madrid, as per, going to be watching it, excited. Let's see what happens. Cupola, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, share, and you know what to do.